Good evening and welcome to the Music for All 50th Anniversary Grand Celebration. Please welcome to the stage the voice of Bands of America and member of the Music for All Hall of Fame, Mr. Chuck Henson.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, nerds. Welcome to the Nerd Convention. Congratulations, we made it. 50 years. I never thought it would ever happen, right? Good evening, everybody. I'm so glad to see everybody. What a great night we're going to have tonight. I want to do something at the beginning, if you'll indulge me. If I could have anyone who has ever participated in a Music for All or Bands of America event, if you'd stand for me right now, just stand. If you were a teacher, if you were a student, if you were a sponsor, if you were a swag. Now, if the first time you participated in a Bands of America event was any time in the 2000s, go ahead and have a seat. Thank you. You see where I'm going, right? If the first time you ever participated in a Bands of America event was any time in the 90s, go ahead and grab your chair. We're thinning the herd a little bit. How about 1980s? Anybody whose first time was in the 1980s? That would be me as well. 1984 was my first year teaching the summer camp. Now, if you look around the room right now, you got some OGs standing there from the 70s. Let's do it this way now. 79, go ahead and have a seat. 78, go ahead and have a seat. 77. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the people that are standing in this room right now literally represent 50 years of excellence. Now, I can't see because of the lights in my eyes, and frankly, my vision is so poor anyway these days. Mike Rubino, are you in the room? Yes. Mike Rubino, the first Summer National Champion, 1976, Live Oak High School. Welcome, sir. So what are we doing tonight? This is going to be an amazing evening. We're going to have a lovely multimedia presentation. I want to thank, by the way, all of our sponsors. They're listed on the stanchions on your tables that helped to put this event together. All of you that bought tables, all of you that are here, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of everyone's heart at Music for All. The multimedia presentation you're going to see this evening is going to have in between them those tiny little interviews with some of the people who were influential in that period of history for Music for All. Now, I will plug my podcast just a little bit if you haven't listened to it yet. Over the summer, Music for All reached out to me and asked me if I would do a podcast chronicling 50 years, an oral history of the organization that has meant everything to everyone in this room. And if you've heard any of them, it has been the most incredible journey. You'd think after my personal 35 years associated with the organization that you know everything there is to know, and you don't. Until you've heard Larry McCormick tell his entire story from the beginning of when he wanted to just create a dream until today. And, until you've heard every person who's been attached to this talk about what it means to them. It's easy to create an organization that produces events, right? That's easy. Anyone can do that. But what has kept all of us coming back, what has made Bands of America and Music for All the organization it is, because of how it makes us feel. And I think you all would recognize and agree with me on that. It's this that keeps us coming back year after year. It's that passion, it's that drive for excellence that Larry McCormick started. One man started this thing. Think if he hadn't done that. Well, we wouldn't be in this room right now, that's for sure. And the fact that he did, amazing. So, here's what we're gonna do. I asked for like a between two ferns kind of setup here. So I'm gonna take my spot here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce the first video. So we're calling it simply 1976, and of course that's the year that Larry started the Summer Nationals in Whitewater, Wisconsin. What you're gonna see on the video screens on either side of me are gonna be some snippets and video from that era, from 1976. You may recognize yourself in some of them. Feel free to clap and cheer if you do. It's like the kids when we run the montage of Grand Nationals. You're in the show, all right? So let's take a look at our first video clip titled 1976.
something like this will give us national exposure and bring some bands together from across the country to give us some common goals and purposes.
This is the starting line for the Marching Bands of America competition. Bands from all over the country march across this line with a common desire: to present their ultimate performance.
We're going to be exposed to bands from all over the country. You're going to get a chance to see some outstanding groups. We've got some wonderful workshops to go to.
Each member has the opportunity to participate in the various clinics, workshops, and exhibits on campus grounds. Toe heel, up, toe heel, up, toe heel.
1, 2, 3, 4, step 2, 3, 4.
Be able to handle a musical expressive phrase with proper dynamic contrast and proper articulation.
Kosciuszko, Mississippi, the Kosciuszko High School Marching Band. Judges, are you ready?
You want to know who's going to win? We're going to win because we got the baddest band in town.
We're going to see you in the finals.
Well, we sure hope so. I hope the judges like it all right. I want to try to clean up some of this execution, but generally I'm well pleased with them. I thought we did it as well as we could.
At 8:15 is the Madison Falcons. At 8:30 is Hersher.
Would you please rise as Dr. William Ravelli, Director Emeritus of the University of Michigan Band and member of our MBA Board of Advisors, leads the massed bands in the playing of our national anthem.
Well, there you have it. The first Marching Bands of America Grand Nationals. And next year's event will prove to be even bigger, better, and more exciting, if that's possible. We hope every one of you can make it, because it looks like the whole country is getting real big on marching band.
Our MBA Grand National Champion with a score of 86.05 from California, the Bible Cavalry Machine.
I have never seen this kind of competition before, and I'm just totally impressed with it.
Another argument for our bands, outside of athletics, we are the only subject in the host curriculum that reaches inside the individual. You can be a straight A student in mathematics and be the coldest fish in the world. But you can't be a musician unless you've got a heart. Unless from within you, there's an expression. That instrument is merely an extension of yourself. Support your schools. Not just music, support the schools. Whatever America's going to be in 2000 is right here on this gridiron tonight. If you can find a better place to put your money than in education of the future of your child, I'd like to know where it is.
This was Larry's seat for tonight. And I don't know if you want to share with everyone what your dad's situation is right now.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. And it's so amazing to see so many faces that have been around for a very long time. Humbled to be here and sitting in a place that my dad should be right now. But about a month ago, excuse me if I get emotional, he suffered a major stroke, and he has been recovering since. He was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and he's been in rehab since. And I know he and Mom were really looking forward to being here and celebrating the 50th, so I will do my best to sit in his seat and answer your questions.
I think on behalf of the whole room, we send our prayers to your family for a speedy recovery. I was fortunate enough to be able to talk with your dad back in August for the podcast, and if you haven't listened to that episode, it actually dropped yesterday. To hear your dad tell the whole story from literally Shears High School, where you met your mom, all the way through, selling the company and Bands of America becoming a nonprofit. You mentioned in your interview to me what it was like growing up McCormick. What was it like growing up McCormick, Scott?
Actually, it was very cool. I mean, my dad, from a very young age of my own and my brothers, there was something unique about him. I mean, it was easy to see that he was visionary. He was always ahead of the curve. I mean, you talked about him making drumsticks. in our house in Elgin, Illinois, our single-car garage, he had a lathe and was making drumsticks, which, he was inventing products, and he was writing for drum and bugle corps, the Cavaliers, and teaching their drum line and programming. He was always a little bit ahead of the curve. So growing up in that environment really kind of set me in a trajectory to do what I did in that place. But it was a fun ride for sure.
He talks constantly in our interview about that passion for perfection, that drive for excellence. Was that part of the everyday life in your house?
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely driven, very competitive, but he, I wasn't here when this happened, but he was a young person. He was probably a troubled teen, and it was being in the Cavaliers and Drum and Bugle Corps that kind of turned his life around. And I think his vision, when McCormick's took off and was being successful, was his give back was to create an organization that he thought was needed to really put the high school music programs, the marching band programs, in another level.
I mean, go ahead. No, we're talking about the late '60s, early '70s, and there was a huge divide between the drum corps programs and the high school marching band programs. And the way he explained it to me was he really wanted to try to bring those things together, that high school wouldn't just be a halftime show and a parade, that it could be the precision that the drum corps offered.
Yeah, I mean, he strived for excellence in everything he did. I think that's the path he took with creating the organization. Yeah. He wanted to showcase that. He wanted kids to get an experience that they didn't get anywhere else. So.
Mission accomplished. Yeah. 50 years later, here we are tonight. Scott, thank you. Thank you so very much for standing in for your dad tonight.
My pleasure.
Appreciate that. Stay where you are for a second. Scott McCormick, everyone. So 1976 happens, right? The event kicks off, and now word's starting to filter out into the country that something magical happened on a football field in Whitewater, Wisconsin. Now, the next few years are going to be pivotal to try to get the word out, to try to grow the program. So we titled the next video segment, The Early Years.
Joining us now from Houston, Texas, is the Westfield High School Marching Band.
What can be done by hard work and desire, because we truly believe that every single person who participated here is a winner in life.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the names of the top 12 bands which will be returning tonight to compete in the finals competition.
relax and enjoy this because it's going to be great.
He has really matured and really taken a lot of more pride in things than before he started the band.
And it's carried over in other ways, not just in band?
Well, in his whole life, I can see a much difference in him.
Does it keep his room as clean as his uniform?
Oh, no.
That way is not the way, huh?
What's going on?
I had the best show of my entire life.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wrapping it up, you got 5 seconds. Positive, reinforce it, and cut. Let the twos do it. Go, twos, your chance.
I'm not sure it's about flagging a flag and tooting a horn and drumming a drum, as much as it is the chance to express myself through that. And of course, once we do that, we hit that basic emotion of love, which we all want. And then we come together, and the walls drop, and we all have a unique gift and something special. And to not give it would be very, very selfish. I think the most selfish thing anybody could do is be a burden to somebody else and not let us share in who you are.
Please welcome Dr. Tim Lotzenheiser. I want to mention, look at this, Tim. James was kind enough to bring out the old traveling trophy, and you can see how beat up the old traveling trophy is. There is a new version of this trophy that's being made this year called the Founders Trophy, and it will be dedicated to both Larry and Joy McCormick, and they will have their names on it. But all the plaques are being redone. It's going to be magnificent. So both of these are going to end up in the BOA offices. Really, really good stuff. Tim, hi.
Chuck, hi.
You told me, when Doug was up here, he was talking about the pandemic and what that did for the organization. But you told me in an interview previously that there almost wasn't a year 3 for Bands of America. You guys did year 1 and year 2, and then financially, it probably wasn't going to be feasible after that, was it?
It was right on the edge, and everybody was ready to throw in the towel. And Larry, we begged him to at least do summer symposium, which was summer camp. And,
like one more time.
Just let us get through camp. And then, of course, that was successful. And then we did the regionals after that. And
is that when the student programs really began?
Yes, that was the summer we added students to this.
So how important was it to Larry and to you, because you were part of the team and a big part of the team, to start to expand into outside of Whitewater?
Well, Whitewater wasn't big enough to hold it. I mean, that was just what was going to be.
Yeah.
And so, and it's not the easiest place in the world to get to either.
It isn't.
And so, and it just...
Good memories in Whitewater, but, Yeah.
You're right, Father Chris. That was what it was. Distinctive laugh, so yeah.
No, I want to touch on one little personal thing. When you first introduced yourself to Larry McCormick, you were at Arkansas?
University of Missouri.
University of Missouri at the time. You write a letter, because that's what we did back then, before there was any other ways of communication.
Is there anything else?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you said to Larry, I'm a hot dog just like you. What did you mean by that?
Well, he was visionary. I mean, Scott was right. His dad was always ahead of the game by 10. He was like an Edsel, but only in the band field.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ride on that bandwagon.
So you guys connected
throw it
pretty
out
quickly.
there. What do you got to lose? You're at no now. So
next thing you know, you're part of the team, and here you sit 50 years later.
Yeah, and it was a privilege and honor to have Larry to be a mentor. That man's a genius. Absolute genius.
And there is one other thing I want to ask you, because you mentioned specifically, and we use it now as part of the opening to the podcast, if you cut me, I will bleed Bands of America. What do you mean by that?
it's just part of your fabric. All the people out here, it's part of their fabric too. It's a jealous wonderment that keeps pulling you back. And oh, this is my last year, and this is my last year, and then one more year.
There's no quitting.
No, you're here.
Yeah, exactly.
Where did you get that coat?
Amazon, $40. I have several. It's my look at me jacket.
Yeah, well, that's a dandy.
Look at me, look at me. Timbers, thank you so much for everything you've done to be a part of Bands of America.
Thank you.
You are the
Thank
heart and
all
soul of
these
this
people.
organization as well. Tim Lotzenheiser.
Thanks, gang.
So once the marching band program is firmly established and there are regionals in place, the thinking changes, because now Marching Bands of America has become Bands of America. And in the back of the people in charge's heads are, well, we can't just be marching band. Bands of America means all Bands of America. And that means expanding the programs into what we see today with the concert programs and things along those lines. The next video segment we call New Programs, New Venues.
Over this Thanksgiving weekend, 22 of America's finest high school marching bands have come to Jacksonville from across the country to compete against each other for the title of Grand National Champion. The over 3,000 young people in these bands have competed in field competition here at the Gator Bowl and in parade competition in the Jacksonville Christmas Parade in downtown Jacksonville. A national panel of judges has selected 12 of the bands to compete in the grand finals.
What a great thrill it is for all of us in Indiana to have the Marching Bands of America once again here in the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana. We're very proud that this great event has come here on its 10th anniversary.
The Marian Catholic High School Marching Band.
Talent that we have. For goodness sakes, ladies and gentlemen, don't ever let anything happen to deter that program in the public schools. Support it. Do everything you can to help encourage it, and don't let anyone take it away from us. Those kids are precious, they're talented, and they are the future of tomorrow.
The search for trying to be perfect in what we do, the adventure and the journey of doing it, is the greatest thrill a person can have.
So, in 1992, we're glad to have you here, sir. In 1992, Bands of America, Music for All, started the National Concert Band Festival, now called the National Festival. And Richard and his wife Gail were the driving force behind the creation of that event. Can you kind of run us through the beginnings of that? What made you want to attach to that in the first place?
First of all, may I say a couple of words? I promise to be brief.
I
need to thank publicly Mr. Knoll, Herman Knoll, and his wife Sandy. They are gems of our profession and our social activity and whatever. But it would have probably made a lot of people happy if I weren't here. But they made sure that I'm here tonight, first class airfare, which I want to thank them very much for that, because it. And also another announcement, that's a light I'm going to be nice to you too. I just paid off my student loan debts, and I'm really, really happy about that. Seriously. Philip Geiger, who's in the back of the room, is at Westfield High School. And they won the Grand Nationals in the 90s. I can't remember the year. And Philip, he got back to me. He said, you know, Scott McCormick really would like to have a concert portion component of Music for All. It wasn't Music for All then, I'm sorry, Bands of America. And I said, boy, I would really like to be a part of that, the concert. Because I wasn't teaching, I was an administrator then in schools, Spring School District. And we got together, Philip and a bunch of my directors in Spring and Scott, and talked about it. And the genesis of the whole thing started there. And then we met in the beautiful confines of cool Whitewater, Wisconsin that summer. And I wish I could go over all the directors that were involved with this, but time won't permit. But it said, okay, what can we do to make it absolutely the most classy event in the world? And the ideas just start popping across the table, and we were frantically taking notes. And it was just the most special thing, one of the most special things I've ever been through, just listening to this. The sky was the limit, and Scott McCormick said, I want it to be the best, most memorable. And Scott, for me personally, and my wife Gail, who I wish I was here because she did all the work, I just took the credit. And Scott, you changed the trajectory of my career in this, because later on, with our association with all these icons that were working with it, I forgot where I was.
Well, that was the whole thing, wasn't it? I mean, you had Frederick Fennell, you had Colonel Gabriel, you had, so many people.
But John Painter was one of the evaluators, and he really liked my wife. And and he said, you know, in order to get Crane, in order to get her, we're going to have to take Richard. So that's about the way it worked out. But that's when I was, the next year, was appointed to the board of directors of Midwest Clinic, and that was 34 years ago. So, Scott, you're responsible for a lot of wonderful things that happened in my life, and also Philip back there, who had this wonderful band program at Westfield. And just another little, I'm sorry, it kind of unnerved me. And so as you see the video with Fennell conducting, well, he conducted the first honor band, and that was another component of it. We wanted an honor band of America. And so it became tradition for the coordinator, was my title, to conduct the national anthem at the beginning of every country band festival. And so I was so busy that week working on stuff, and I didn't have a baton, and I'm looking around, and Fennell is standing there. And I asked him,
can I borrow your baton?
Yeah, may I borrow your baton? And he said, certainly, Richard. And he took it out of that beautiful leather case.
Huh? Wow.
And said, Bill Ludwig gave this to me. Be careful with it. So
No
I
pressure
was.
there. No pressure there.
No pressure there. Anyway, one of the little things. And the night that Gabriel was chasing me all over the campus of Northwestern, that's where we met the first 3 years, because the participating bands also made up the honor band. And so one band program that I'm real familiar with decided to go downtown for sightseeing. And so he was missing 20 players out of the band. Where's Crane? Well, I found a lot of places to hide in Northwestern. I'm sorry.
Well, I will tell you this, the National Concert Band Festival, for many people, legitimized Bands of America and Music for All as an arts and education advocacy organization. We have this man to thank for that. Richard Crane. You know, over the course of the last 50 years, there have been an array of talent that have performed at our events. Not just the kids, because they've been incredible, but from the most incredible jazz legends to the A-list celebrities that have appeared. Bands of America and Music for All has seen such an incredible group of professional performers, and we'd like to showcase them now in the next video.
Please join us in welcoming the Commandant Zone U.S. Marine Drum and Bugle Corps from Washington, D.C.
Trumpet great, Maynard Ferguson.
Marching band in particular gives you this very interesting skill set, which is a combination of discipline and creativity.
The hope of America, I believe, always is in the music, which gives us spirit.
The parents and advocates, real-life Mr. Hollands, and citizens across the country who want something better for our children, a complete education which includes music.
There's just something about sitting down and playing something that you couldn't play yesterday. That's huge.
Paganini, please play my Rhapsody, and if you cannot play it, won't you sing it? And if you can't sing it, you simply have to zip you ba dib ba do ow, ooh ya ow ya ow ya ow.
Jazz is Eric Martin at Music for All, bringing a jazz band with me. Yeah. What do you say right here? That's right. That's right.
Here we go. Sing a song. Sing a song. Sing out loud. Come on. Sing out loud. Sing out strong. Sing out strong. Sing of good things, not bad.
Sing of good things, not bad. Sing of good things, not bad.
Music and art in the lives of our children create the whole individual.
Indianapolis, Old Market Square, the circle in the snow. No matter where I may be, Indy just keeps calling me. Indianapolis, Indy.
25 years ago, we were graced with a performance from one of Indiana's most beloved voices. Tonight, as we celebrate 50 years of Music for All, we welcome her home once again to lift our hearts and celebrate the power of music. She is a winner of 5 Grammy Awards, 40 Dove Awards, 4 Billboard Music Awards, with 3 Platinum and 5 Gold albums, a Gospel Music Hall of Fame inductee, and an Indiana living legend. Please welcome Sandi Patty.
Celebrating all of you tonight and all that you have given. Je t'aime, te amo, ya tibia liu blue. Ani ohevet otcha. You know what all that means? I love you. Well, the sounds are all as different as the lands from which they came. And though our words are all unique, our hearts are still the same. Love in any language, straight from the heart, pulls us all together, never apart. And once we learn to speak it, all the world will hear. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. We teach the young our differences, yet look how we're the same. We love to laugh, we dream our dreams. We know the sting of pain. From Leningrad to Lexington, the farmer loves his land. And daddies all get misty-eyed to give their daughters hand. Oh, maybe when we realize how much there is to share, we'll find too much in common to pretend it isn't there. Love in any language, straight from the heart, pulls us all together, never apart. And once we learn to speak it, all the world will hear. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. And though the rhetoric of government may keep us worlds apart, there's no misinterpreting the language of the heart. Any language, straight from the heart, pulls us all together, never apart. And once we learn to speak it, all the world will hear. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. Love in any language, straight from the heart, pulls us all together, never apart. We learn to speak it, all the world will hear. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. Love in any language, straight from the heart, pulls us all together, never apart. And once we learn to speak it, all the world will hear. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. Love in any language, fluently spoken here. Love in any language, fluently spoken. Love in any language, spoken here.
Sandy Patty, ladies and gentlemen. So, that great. Anybody here 25 years ago when she appeared the first time? Amazing, right? Amazing. So everything that we've done up till now, Every achievement we've had, every show there's been, every number that's been written, every flag that's been furled and rifle that's been caught and note that's been played has all been in the past. 50 years come and gone. The future is what we're looking at now. What holds next for Bands of America? Why don't you take a look at this next video we titled The Future.
Something that is really very, very rare in today's society is for a bunch of young people to really be into giving a lot of themselves over a long period of time for something that's a group activity.
You know, if we win, we win. That would be super. If we don't, well, then somebody else deserved it.
Everybody, let me introduce you to James Weaver, the CEO and president of Music for All.
Okay, thank you, Chuck.
You got a big job ahead of you, sir.
I mean, it's just the next 50 years of Music for All. So.
Right? Let me just start at the beginning. What was it that drew you? Because this is your first fall, really looking at what we do. What drew you to this position in the first place?
So music has always been a big part of my life. I started playing bass in 4th grade. So going from that little guy, like with a bass is twice the size of me, going up to being a mediocre bass player is how I describe myself, and then becoming a music educator myself and going into the dark side of administration. When I look back at what I could really do going into Music for All, it was bringing my passion of music education back into my real world experiences through what I've done in the administration world.
And you're not new to working with Music for All. You've done, what sort of things have you done in the past with the organization in your previous role?
Yeah, so I've been working with the education department with Music for All for a long time. And so James Stevens and I know each other very well. We work on some copyright things. We did the pandemic response. We worked on a bunch of other ways to get kids engaged. One of the areas we worked with the most is on access. How do we improve access for every kid in the United States, regardless of zip code?
That's exactly it, because in the future, because Music for All means music for all. Not just those people who can gather in Indianapolis for a marching band show or in a concert hall for the concert band festival.
Right, literally in the name.
Yeah. How do we achieve that?
So what we need to do is really look at where the opportunities are, where the access points can be. How do we lower barriers for students of all income levels? Those are areas we're really looking forward to diving into as we start year 51. There's so much opportunity available for us, and it's just ready for us to be creative and dive in and start making change happen.
Anything you can kind of give us a little hint on what you're working on now?
I don't think that's fair. No. We're really going from an education leading first experience. So how do we make sure that people trust what Music for All does? What we talk about is we are the largest music education nonprofit in the United States.
By far.
By
right?
far.
Yeah.
And so we need to look
Let me stop you there. Think of that. Say that again.
Yeah, we are the largest music education nonprofit in the United States.
I mean, that's mind-blowing to think that what Doug said at the beginning, that we've increased our program so much since the pandemic. The planning that has to go into that, the amount of trust that has to happen from the people that support this organization. You feel that, don't you?
Yeah, so one thing that's amazing as I walk through the halls of everything we've been doing here is the deep passion that everybody shows that what we're doing. So like one thing that's interesting is like we have a new program called Sounds of Success where people can really come into what we're doing in a meaningful manner and have a deep impact with our area. We talk a lot about what workforce development looks like in music education. And what happens here is a lot of people here got to start in music and they are not musicians themselves today. Right. But it has a deep impact, profound skill set that provides for everybody.
That's it.
And so what we want to do is take that message to everywhere and say, being in music will change your life forever and have a positive impact.
And it does. We wish you all the best, my friend.
Great.
Good luck. James Weaver, everyone.
Thank you, Chuck.
So we put together one more montage, a collage for you, an overview of 50 years of Bands of America. We hope you enjoy.
Tonight, you share this field with your peers, with the knowledge that you have achieved something to which thousands more aspire.
We don't learn just about music. We learn about what it's like to be a human being, what it's like to care not only for yourself, but what it's like to care for the people around you. We want every kid to have a chance to be a part of music.
Hundreds of teachers gathered before you here tonight are the real heroes of America. We need that well-rounded mind now, for it is from that creativity and imagination that the solutions to all of our political and social problems will come.
It is a spirit which is undefinable. Really, it's there to begin with. All you do is generate it. This very thing is happening tonight. It's a blessing to all of us.
So we are at the end of our program, but not the end of our journey. It's just starting, the next 50 years. I want to thank you for indulging me and having me up here today. And as cliched it is, thanks for joining us tonight. And yes, we will go for it and break ranks at some point this evening, but now is not that time. There's plenty of evening left. There's plenty to enjoy. There are people to talk to. There are hugs to give and folks to say hello that we haven't seen in a long time. This is our family in this room tonight, and I'm proud to be part of it. Thank you for being here.